Hey, what's going on, you guys? So, a couple of days ago, everyone that knows the R. Kelly trial and has been following his trial, they know the new news about the three people who were arrested for intimidating witnesses, right? So, I've been dying to make a follow-up video on that news release, but I just hadn't had chance to, and I've been meaning to make this video. I've been actually fighting to get to my computer so I can make this video over the past 2 days. And now I finally have the opportunity to do it. Before I even go too far with this video, I'm just going to start off with a big fat I told you so. I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. And for those that follow my channel, you would have seen the video where I talk about Azriel's YouTube page. I think it's called Azriel's YouTube page and what it means for R. Kelly. That's the title of the video. And in that video, I take a look at the possible trap of intimidating a witness. I take a look at that. And at the time that I actually made that video, well, you know what? Let me just pause right here, and we're just going to transition where we take a look at a clip in that video, right? So let's just pause and let's just transition and take a look at the clip in that video. I advise everyone to get away from bashing and attacking witnesses, and I'll get into the reason why. Before we get into what it means for R. Kelly, let's talk about what it means for the R. Kelly supporters. Now, a lot of you may know that R. Kelly has been trying to get bail. And one of the reasons that the prosecutors are saying he should be denied bail, or at least one of the debating points, or whatever you want to call it, on why they're trying to keep R. Kelly from getting bail is because they're saying that the R. Kelly supporters are attacking witnesses that are involved in the trial. Now, I don't know if Azriel Clary is a witness in the trial. You guys let me know if you think she's a witness in the trial. Leave your questions and comments below. At the very least, I think she could be possibly called as a witness. Now, I think this video and this video series is probably going to be a trap for the R. Kelly supporters who are not thinking. It's going to be a trap for any R. Kelly supporters out there who are not cautious. And it's going to be a trap for anyone that's really stupid. And this is the reason I say this. If you go to her page or you go to her channel and you go to the comment section, you instantly start bashing her or possibly saying things that could be taken as bullying or kind of anything that crosses the lines of cyber crimes or threatening or anything like that, you're instantly going to be investigated. I guarantee you. I guarantee you absolutely 100%. In my opinion, they're going to come after you. And the reason I say this is because the prosecutors are on high alert for internet bullying because they need an example to take back into the courtroom and say, see, this is the reason that R. Kelly shouldn't be let out on bail because he's going to encourage, these people. So, in my opinion, that's what it means for the R. Kelly supporters. Okay, so now at the time I made that video, it wasn't really clear whether or not Azriel was a witness. And for whatever reason, I can't remember my logic then, but I kind of believed that she would be a witness. And I believe it was based on the video that she released because the type of things that she was saying in that video made me believe it was to be used as testimony. And the prosecutors could try to do something tricky whereby they introduce the video as evidence, but Azriel is not necessarily put on the stand, right? I don't even know if that's possible, but it seems like the prosecutors would try to use some variation of that gambit, if you will. They could potentially say, well, hey, look, see, this is one of his alleged victims, and this is her on YouTube, basically ranting or crying of what R. Kelly did to her, right? So I kind of believe they could try to do that. And the reason they would try to do that is because they want to make it difficult for the defense to basically question Azriel. Because we all know once Azriel is actually questioned, her story will basically come apart and it'll just fall apart in shambles. Because we all know, I don't believe that she's actually a victim, and I think there's millions of other people who don't believe that as well. But anyway, this video is not about that. I don't even want to get off on a tangent on that. This video is about the three people who were arrested for tampering with the witness. So like I said, I believed at that time that she was going to be a witness, and it wasn't based off of anything but that video, I believe, because of the types of things that she was saying in the video. She's trying to document her alleged abuse, which isn't even really abuse, right? But she's trying to document this stuff and put it out there. And obviously this is something that the prosecutors could use if they chose to do so. Now, the thing about it is that I also felt that it was a trap, because anyone that would have gone to her page and basically bashed her, anyone that would have gone to the page and threatened her, gone to Twitter and threatened her, you're basically falling into that trap. And I knew this would happen, and that's why I actually made the video to sort of warn some of the supporters that, hey, this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to trap you. Now it's actually kind of funny because I think someone else on that came to my YouTube page and in the comment section, they said that Azriel is not actually going to be used as a witness in the trial. She's just being pegged as a witness to cause a distraction, right? So, that could be another possibility, right? They're just basically throwing bait out there, right? They're throwing bait out there. She's out there on Twitter, she's out there on YouTube, and they're waiting to see how many people are going to bite on this bait. And several people did. Several people actually bit on the bait. And we're going to get into that in a minute. But first, I just want to firmly establish that I was right. I'm not often right. I'm wrong about a lot of things, but I think I deserve credit for being right, for catching that trap. And then I'm also puzzled as to how people could even fall for the bait in the beginning. And actually, when I made that video, if you go and look at the comment section of that video, people were complaining. People complaining. They were saying, well, she gets to come out and say all this crazy stuff, but we can't, speak and all this other type of stuff. So yeah, you have freedom of speech. But what I was trying to communicate to, those people is that, hey, yeah, you have freedom of speech, but you have to be careful, because they're just simply trying to lay this trap, and they're hoping that you're going to say something that's going to be out of pocket so that they can use it against R. Kelly in the federal case. And that's essentially what they've done, right? Now, I'm going to admit some of the alleged crimes are beyond just putting a comment on a YouTube page, or beyond putting a comment on a Twitter page. Some of this alleged conduct is beyond that, right? And I think, yes, you have freedom of speech. Yes, you have, when a person comes out on the internet and they starts talking about their personal affairs, I believe they give you a right to respond with your own personal opinion. And you have freedom of speech and you have the right to do that. But there's a there's a tricky line in all of that. You can't go to the page and respond with, like, I'm going to kill you, or the next time I see you I'm going to F you up and things like that. Because when you make comments like that, you give the government the right to basically pursue you. And what a lot of people don't understand is that we're in a new age. We're in a new age, a new time. And every single thing you do can be monitored. We're living in we're on the edge of a police state. And when I say that, I'm basically trying to get people to realize that everything that you do can be monitored. And any little slip up can land you in jail, right? And this kind of goes beyond the three people arrested for intimidating the witness. I need people to understand that everything you do with your phones are monitored. Every time you walk out your house, there's a police camera. You go downtown to handle your affairs, there's a camera. You go to the grocery store to handle your affairs, there's a camera. You get into an altercation on a deep, dark street, if there's another person there, there's a camera because they're going to pull out their little cell phone. And, because of the way society is now, they're going to record everything. Everything is going to be recorded. So we are on the edge of a police state, right? And I'm using the word police state loosely. Maybe I should use a better word, but everything you do is monitored. Everything you do is monitored. So now when we shift back and we start talking about Azriel and all the other witnesses in this case, when you go to a Twitter page, when you go to a YouTube page, and you put comments up there and you say something that can consider to be violence, or you say something that can consider to be threatening, they're gonna surveil you. They're going to get a court order, a subpoena without your knowledge, and then they're going to start to monitor you. They're going to pull up a microscope and they're going to go through every detail of your life. So this is why you got to be careful when you go out to these Twitter pages, you go out to these Instagram pages, you go out to these YouTube pages. You have to police yourself. You have to ask yourself, are the things that I'm about to put on this page, can they be considered threatening, right? Can be considered bullying? Can it be considered basically, trying to suppress and oppress another person, right? You have to ask yourself questions like that. Now it becomes tricky, because of course you have freedom of speech. You can call people names. That, yeah, for sure you can call people names. You can call a person. I'm not even going to throw names out there because I'm trying to keep my YouTube page clean. But you can imagine what type of names you can call a person. You can call a person all type of names, and you can make derogatory statements. But you have to be careful because when you put comments out there, you have to make sure that they're not threatening, and you have to make sure that the person that's going to receive those comments are not going to be in fear for their lives, right? So I just wanted to throw those things out there. Leave your questions and comments below and let me know what you think about this. Do you think that, number one, we're on the edge of a police state, in lack of a better word, where everything you do, everywhere you go, we probably not even going to get to the point where they're going to be able to monitor your thoughts, right? That's not too far fetched, right? So do you think we live in a police state, right? And do you think that it was actually a trap to have Azriel create a YouTube presence? Maybe it wasn't an intentional trap, but nonetheless it became a trap, right? Because a lot of people, they went to her page and they put all these type of crazy comments out there, right? I think you're free to go to her page. If she says something out of pocket, I think you're free to express your opinion. But when you start threatening and saying things that are, basically going to make the other person feel in fear for their life, their safety, or their family safety, then you are pretty much crossing the line. Let me know what you think about that. Let me know what you think the limitations are when it comes down to your freedom of speech. Because there are some exceptions to freedom of speech. I forget which video I highlight those on, but I think it was in the video series about the savages and the material they posted, right? There are limitations to even freedom of speech, so you really have to be careful out there, right? So let's actually get into some of the individuals that would actually charge, right? So